Three, two, one, go. Guys, welcome to another episode of Funky Marketing, Funky B2B Marketing Podcast, right? I need to include B2B in my name because people who made this list of the B2B podcast, B2B Marketing Podcast, they just go and they take all those that have B2B in the name. So I need to have a B2B in my name. I don't know if I'm going to change the name or whatever, but today we are here to talk about the topic which is extremely interesting. It is to answer the question, is personal branding a pyramid scheme or no? What inspired me for this episode was the post by Elena Verna, who wrote a post, I think yesterday, that says building a brand is a fallacy. Don't waste your time on it. Instead, focus on doing the best work of your life and your brand will follow. Credibility and trust come from your contributions and achievements, laying the foundation on a strong personal brand that grows organically. I'll link the post in the show notes but let me read it through, because your personal brand is lagging indicator of you doing great, meaningful work. If this sounds counterintuitive, it's because a loud army of influencers is incentivized to sell brand building courses, back with grow your LinkedIn following tips, build your personal brand tricks, and algorithm hacks. You're better off out of all that, but I would highly encourage every one of you to start sharing your insights publicly to democratize information. If the tech industry were more open to sharing knowledge, we'd all be much further ahead. We each have lessons and stories worth sharing, and by doing so, we help others avoid the same pitfalls. And this is what she said she does without any concern for her brand. So don't have any time to build your brand, no problem. Don't know what to post, maybe another day. Don't get any engagement with your post. They're lost, worried about your number of followers. It's a vanity metric anyway. And yes, put that link in the post. No comments, you rebel. So this is kind of interesting. And I wanted to record this episode and to comment on this. I already reposted this with a comment, but I felt like I need to do the whole piece, the full episode, and to get into the nuances of the personal branding and what it is. To give you a background, it might seem counterintuitive or whatever it is, disturbing, as I talk a lot about personal brand. If you've been following me and this podcast, you know about it. And in 2017-18, I was also doing lectures about the importance of personal brand. But those who have worked with me know that I define it as a digitalized reputation, the one you already created outside of the internet, outside of LinkedIn, and being the CEO of a brand called you, meaning controlling the narrative. Right? Most of you have been reading what I write on LinkedIn, listening to me here on the podcast and on other podcasts, but I'm a practitioner. I'm doing a lot of work, and sharing on social comes as a result of it. Exactly what Elena said, right? Insights emerge as a result of work, of doing the work, not from reading what others are doing or saying. And this is extremely important. Your personal brand is a result of the full experience people have from engaging with you, from interactions, meeting offline, the way you talk, the way you solve problems, impressions you make. Do you hold the door for somebody in a restaurant? Do you wear glasses? Do you wear a beard? How do you look like? What's your accent? All those things, work plus life, appearance and practice. And it's the sum of all those experiences. And just a note, you probably know, but it's not hard to say, I don't have courses. I don't sell courses. So with me, it's not about that. And I just recorded a short 10 minutes, even 6 minutes, I think, video with Gabriel Ehrlich to talk about exactly that post, and I'm going to link that up in the comment when I publish the episode as a podcast episode, just to see that perspective from Gabriel as well. But let's get into all of this. I'm all for people sharing their insights and experiences. This is what I've been advocating all along. But when it comes to building a personal brand, I see too many people that are falling for the influencer playbook. Even today, I just hold back a little bit when somebody says that I'm an influencer, or a creator even. I'm sure I create, but I don't think about myself as an influencer. There are a lot of people who sell courses, who talk about only algorithm, how to grow your following, all of them promises to turn you into a brand overnight, and it's not happening. Why would they do that? What would you do that for? Vanity Metrics? It's all starting to feel like really a pyramid scheme, if you ask me. So here's the thing: real personal branding isn't something you build with tricks. It's simply the digital version of your reputation. It's who you already are, the work you've done, and all the impact you've made. So I always say, don't create it with a course or a clever post. It follows naturally from the experiences people have with you, both online and offline. So I want to challenge the idea that you need a strategy to build a brand, right? Instead, I believe you need a strategy to do great work. Lead with that, and the brand, if we even want to call it that, will take care of itself. So let's get into all of this. So the thing which is kind of interesting is why the personal brand resonates with me. Back in the days, I think in 2015, when I started posting regularly on LinkedIn, I'm the outgoing guy. Before I started posting on LinkedIn, I was learning a lot, doing a lot, and I was sharing all of this stuff inside the company Slack. And I was sharing so many things that in 13 months, starting as a rookie, and then in 30 months becoming the first ever general manager of the company. What does it mean? I was doing the work, having results with my clients, and I was learning all along. So I was sharing all that with the team so they can grow with me. And then I went on LinkedIn to post that so the company can grow as well. So we can all grow. And then as I switched companies, as I switched things I'm focused on, those kind of things, I basically keep sharing my story, keep sharing the insights, keep sharing the findings that I have, keep sharing the results. And it resulted that in 2019, I started Funky Marketing by talking to the people and getting the insights. I moved into the B2B space. And then I added one person, second person, the third person to the team, and we all grew together. And four of us closed 47 deals in the first year on LinkedIn, only through organic content, only through posting insights, practical advices, to frameworks, results, testimonials, co-creating content with clients, with authorities, those kind of things. So I already knew what I was doing, and then I went to LinkedIn. And that has something to do, because I was a guy from the small city in Southeast Serbia, and I was going offline because I was involved a lot with youth work. I was going offline and talking on the conferences. And on one of the conferences, somebody saw me and they invited me 2 years after. Would you like to go to work? I think now we're good. Would you like to go and work in an agency? What do you know about marketing? Well, I knew enough. I was already doing the work. So that's how it happens. Somebody is always watching. That's why you need to share insights, what you know, what you do, what kind of person you are, so you can create trust in you and in your work. And a lot of people, let me go back now a step outside of myself. In last year, I was working a lot with people who have built companies, from small ones to the bigger ones to the corporations, who I met offline, at the offline conferences. And the thing is, I had no idea some of them exist if they weren't in a printed media on some business portals. I had no idea that they actually existed. And the thing is, they didn't digitalize their authority and their reputation, because when you talk with them, you know that they have done the work. You know that they have miles um, ahead back. So they walk miles. They had challenges. They had difficulties, but they never shared it. And a lot of people don't share it. That's why the market is not moving forward as fast as it could. And I think that's so important, because like, if you want to create the blueprint and you want the whole market to move forward, so you can have also more work, you need to share what you know and what you are dealing with, all those good and bad things, both of those, right? And all those people that don't do it, there will come a time, and it will come sooner than later, that somebody will push them, they will get punched in their kidneys and feel the pain of not digitalizing their authority and the reputation that they already built, right? Because if I go to Google and I Google them, what will I see over there? Are they okay with what I'm going to see over there? You need to be the one to control the narrative. And that's also another thing related to building the brand. You are the one controlling the narrative about you. How are they telling the story about you, right? Google didn't start as what it is now. It started differently, right? It started differently because they needed to allow startups to do ads. It was too expensive at the time, so they created a way to do it. And a lot of people don't know, because first Google told their story, and then people started telling the story the way they see it, and Google evolved from that, right? So it's the same with building a personal brand. You need to, share your thoughts on why something feels good, why are you doing something, how are you doing the things, all the things. I always say, do it in a form. You have past, you have present, you have the future. So in the past, it's everything until now. The presence is basically, the things that you do day to day, and the future is your point of view or how you see things differently. A lot of people feel the scarcity of, the posts need to be polished, they need to post daily, they need to create great images, those kind of things. That's just bullshit. That's just bullshit. In the AI and in the times we live in, when everybody has like polished posts and those kind of things, you want to be unique and to write your own way with the mistakes in English, even, those kind of things. You want to share your belief of what is important, because consistency is important. It's important to be there. You don't need to be there daily, but when you post something, it needs to mean something, right? And usually when I say that, people say, okay, I'm going to post in 6 months. No. When I say it means something, it means that it tackles, you have the feeling about that topic, and it bothers you, so you want to share it, or you just achieve a great result. Or, in B2B, you're actually solving problems, and you need to share the way you're solving problems for a specific audience, and your content needs to be created around that. And if you can share a little story or stories about yourself outside of business, so people can relate to that too, it would be nice. Because, in B2B, especially with high ACV, average contract values, and expensive products, people buy once in a few years. So what you can do and what you need to do is actually think about connecting with them from a human perspective, human to human, right? And that's so important. A lot of people forget the human part of it. It don't needs to be everything you write about. It needs to have at least, like 10 or 20% of everything you post. But also be sure that if you want to have one photo on LinkedIn, on the internet, make sure that it's the one on LinkedIn. When you Google yourself, people will find your photo over there. and control the narrative. Those people who sell courses about personal branding, about LinkedIn, about all those kind of things, they don't know how to build businesses. They know how to build courses and how to sell them. So they cannot connect LinkedIn with the business results and talk about LinkedIn in a form of that's one of the channels, no matter if you use it for lead generation, for sales, if you use it to build awareness, if you use it to create engagement, connections, or we use it for employer branding and actually creating a surround system around companies' messaging. It's just one of the channels. And it's the channel where people are spending time talking with each other, learning, connecting, and we spend more time on social than we spend actually doing our job. So your job there isn't to sell. Your job is to create relationships with people. And it doesn't sound like, oh, we need to build a huge personal brand, right? No. Actually, brand comes out of you being authentic, and it means being you. Don't try to pretend that you're somebody else. A lot of people are doing that and making a mistake. And let's talk about the offline version of personal brand. Personal brand is not something that you are doing only on digital, only online. It's how you look like, how you dress up, how you talk, what people feel when you enter the room, right? A lot of people forget that. When I created Funky Marketing, I had in mind exactly the situation I want you to imagine when I entered the room, when people see the messages from Funky Marketing, from me, right? I already told the story. I don't know if I should tell it again, but it's the Lionel Richie singing the national anthem for the first time differently, being left outside of everything, but everybody is struggling with depression, with drugs and everything, but he came in and he kills it because he sang the national anthem for the first time differently with a melody that sounded like Let's Going On. And a lot of people, and he killed it. He said it's the culture, it's the hood, it's the music, it's tradition, it's everything. It was the mix of everything done by the underdog. He wasn't even the first choice. It was Lionel Richie, but people just knew, hello, is it me you're looking for? Lionel Richie actually published that song in 1984, the year I was born. Kind of interesting, right? So if you look up for that recording of Lionel Richie singing the national anthem, it was the first time somebody sang the US national anthem differently. And you will see in the comments, people say this is the first and the last time somebody actually made love while listening to the national anthem. Amazing, right? Really amazing. So let's talk about that. You need to see and feel the way people perceive you, because you are influencing that decision. Your personal brand is the sum of all the interactions people have, all the experiences people have with interactions with you. If they see your post, if they watch your video, if they are working with you, if they are playing basketball with you, if they are watching the game with you, whatever it is, if somebody else is telling them stories about you, that also affects your personal brand. All of that is important. Personal brand should be a byproduct or lagging indicator of meaningful work, right? And how do you know that it's actually happening? Well, you see what comes out. The same thing. I measure it on a self-reported attribution. When people come to the website, what they're saying, Nemanja jumps out of Patel LinkedIn. Nemanja share this kind of strategy. I want to work with you guys because your messaging and the way you do the work is totally different. Then the existing clients come and say, hey, I saw you talking about this. You did this with that brand. Another client of yours, maybe we can try this for ourselves. Those kind of things. Then people say, hey, this guy recommended you, this guy recommended you. And a lot of times it will be the people you were working with, but sometimes even the people who just see the results that you are sharing, insights, will recommend you, no matter if they know you or they don't. But you are the first thing on their mind. And if you're not sharing all those insights, what you know, people cannot know what you know and what's your experience and what are your results. They cannot know that. So you need to ensure them that you know all these things and give them a proof. Also, something that takes time, but if somebody is actually Googling, for example, Nemanja Zivkovic Funky Marketing or Nemanja Zivkovic LinkedIn, and coming through your website to convert with those keywords, it means that you already created a personal brand, but it takes a lot of time. I managed to do it in like 2.5 years, and it doesn't happen very often, but it happens. I saw in Google Search Console those keywords. Also, on YouTube, are there people actually searching for those things? Are you actually encouraging them to search for your for what you know? Right? So you first need to know the work. You need to be recognized as the authority, as somebody who knows their shit. And then you need to start creating content, posting, and those kind of things. If that's not something that works for you, for example, sometimes you are just building your presence, your reputation, but you need to build it, for example, to even get a first job. So don't say that you know things. Don't present as something that you are not. Say, hey, I'm just learning these things. Can you help me out? This is the way I see it. Maybe you see it differently. Am I making a mistake here? These are the results that I got. It's the first time that I'm doing this. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Can I do it better? You know, those kind of things. And then you will learn, and then you will share something, and people who are following you will find it useful. So those are the things that matters. You're right. But don't obsess over brand or personal brand or those kind of things. It comes as a byproduct. Also, you know, recommendations comes as a byproduct of doing the great work as well. So that's extremely important. And also the way we see it, building a personal brand comes from different perspective. You know, some people want to sell more their services, the product, the services or the company or the products of the company they are working for. That's one way to put it. Others want to get on a higher position inside the company. Maybe they want to get on board in corporations. They want to climb the ladders. So what you can do, you can share your authority and your way, your point of view, the way you see some of the things, the way you work with them. Prove to others in a company that you have the capability to do it, that you have the knowledge, and that you have enough experience to do it, or you deserve a chance to go out there and do it. You deserve a chance to go to a higher position in a company. Or maybe you want to go outside of the company and build something on your own. Then you are doing it also differently. Those are all different things. But before you start building a personal brand, you need to actually ask yourself, who am I? What I want to achieve? Where do I want to get? Who can I influence? What can I teach? All those are very hard questions, and those are the questions that a lot of people never ask themselves because they are hard questions and I want to avoid it. They cannot answer it right away and just like that. And I see that when I work with companies, I ask all those questions, and those are hard questions to answer. A lot of people say that nobody ever asked me that. I didn't ask that myself, right? So that's important, and it's important not to listen to everybody on LinkedIn. There's an echo chamber out there, people are repeating the same things. It's important that you build your credibility through real experiences. Do the work, gather insights, and let your brand reflect actual achievements and contribution, not build it out of the thin air, right? There was a ton of times when I shared the story, I ignored the trends or gimmicks, and I chose to focus on doing something meaningful, and it pays out. Now I have a lot of content because I create podcasts, and it seems like, oh, I'm everywhere, but I'm actually doing the work, and then it's easy to share the work when you have it done and when you've already done it. So that's extremely important, and this is what you should know, and what you should think about when you are actually, thinking about personal brand. There are tons of benefits of sharing knowledge openly. It fosters collaboration, it helps others, it builds a positive reputation over time. And a lot of people read that, right? A lot of people read that, and it creates a picture in their head about who you are, what you know, if they can trust you, because trust is something you want to build. That's why you share insights, you share contribution, you share work, because you want to build trust. And building a personal brand based on just something other people said, or you heard it somewhere, and not actually trying it and doing it, it's actually fake. So you want to build trust with doing something meaningful, because no matter if it happens now or it happens in the future, people will recognize that, and it will be the end of you and their opinions about you, and it will break the trust that you work so hard to build. Don't caught up in the personal branding game. Focus on making the impact, focus on doing the great work, and focus on building real relationships. The credibility and the trust, they come from meaningful contribution, not the vanity metrics and follower counts. Especially, like, there are people with 80,000 followers, there are people with 500,000 followers. Not everybody can see their posts even. And not all of them want to hire them, and not all of them actually think of them as, oh, I know the personal branding of that person, right? Shift your focus from building a personal brand to doing the great work, and share it in a way that feels authentic for you, not for somebody else, for you. Think of your brand as a kind of like a reflection of your work and character, rather than something you need to construct artificially. I hope that I was able to explain to you. And thanks for tuning in. It was the short episode, but something that's important. And I think I will share a lot more episodes like this. But real impact starts with meaningful work. It don't start with branding tricks. So if you found this helpful, consider sharing it with others who might be caught up in the personal branding hype. And until next time, keep doing the work that matters, and the brand will follow. Make sure now to go to the beginning of the episode, listen everything, share something on social. If you heard it here, tag me, I'll answer. Let's create discussions. Follow the podcast if you don't follow it on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple, or any other platform that you are following. Share it with others. I'm trying to build the momentum here and to build actually the podcast, and by sharing valuable stuff. So help me out here. Keep it funky. Cheers. See you in another episode. Bye-bye.